everybody, welcome. I am Deanna Norelli, registered dietitian and yoga health coach with Tulasara Wellness. What I'd like to do is set up a series of videos to discuss the anti-inflammatory lifestyle, not just the diet, but the lifestyle. And what I want to do is take my background in Western nutrition and Eastern Ayurveda and yoga and bring them together so I can give you really simple, practical tips that you can apply to your everyday life. Today we're setting up inflammation from the Ayurvedic perspective. You may not even know that word Ayurveda. Ayurveda. It means the science of life. And here's what's interesting, having lived in both camps, Western and Eastern, is a lot of these Western doctors are adapting this Eastern philosophy as well. Well, look at Deepak Chopra. He's got beautiful information about Ayurveda. Kulrit Chaudhary with the Prime, and there are many other doctors, Western doctors, starting to bring Ayurveda to life. But Ayurveda looks at disease very differently, in that this idea of inflammation can be so preventable and so simple to start with. It starts with this concept of ama. And the truth is that we all take in just too much food, too much information, too much screen time. We're hyper consuming. We live in a culture that hyper consumes. And so it's almost as if we need to be real proactive to consume less. What does that look like for you? What does consuming less look like for you? So that's the question I want to leave you with, but I also want to set up what this might look like for you. So Ayurveda looks at this inflammation in the body and the mind. In the body, it might look like carrying around too much weight. It might look like physical pain, joints, aches, those kinds of things. It might look like digestive issues, constipation, bloating, gas, all kinds of other heartburn issues. So these are some common symptoms of inflammation from the body perspective. But what about the mind? Who's really thought about inflammation in the mind? Well, think about it this way. When have you experienced overwhelm, anxiety, depression, irritability? These are all symptoms that there's stress and emotions in the mind that are not being processed and not being digested. I know that sounds a little abstract, but this is the Eastern perspective we're looking at. And if we have too much on our mind, it's going to affect our sleep and our energy. So if the mind is overwhelmed, it's not able to rest and digest all of the stress and all the emotions, all of the things we're taking in through our senses. So what is a person to do in this hyperconsumption culture? Well, I want to give you just 5 tips to reduce your inflammation from an Ayurvedic standpoint. First and foremost, drink water. In fact, I would encourage you to drink warm water, like from a teapot, or I have a thermos sitting on my desk behind me. Boiling some hot water, you can add a little lemon, ginger, fennel seeds, cardamom seeds, anything like that. But it really helps to loosen, soften the tissues, and move some of these toxins, some of this ama out. So that's number 1, drink more water. Number 2, I'd love you to start tracking some of these symptoms, tracking your sleep, tracking your mood, and tracking your physical symptoms. Keep track of your weight, your pain, those kinds, your digestion, right? So that's 4. And then 5 might be a stretch for you, but I've been doing this for years. And I'll tell you, it's such a fun experiment to do, is tongue scraping. You can get a tongue scraper anywhere, Amazon, Google it. You'll find all kinds of tips about what to do and how to do it. But it's a little metal device that you take and scrape on your tongue first thing in the morning to see what you haven't digested. The proof is in the pudding, right? You do the experiment for yourself. So I hope that's helpful for you today, just looking at an anti-inflammatory lifestyle from an Ayurvedic perspective. The next time we meet, we're going to look at the Western perspective. Hope you join me.